Good evening, you handsome lot. I tell you what a beautiful morning it is. Well, I'm stuck in traffic this morning, so I thought, you know what? Let's start today's video with the journey to work. Now, I know I haven't posted the last couple of days because I've been that busy doing just general basic servicing and stuff, but I did have a Jaguar E-Pace in with an electronic parking brake, which I'll attach a picture up here somewhere, where the wiring loom from the parking brake itself, from the motor, has gone through where it goes through the chassis. It had rubbed against the inner wheel arch, got a bit of a green crusty, and we also had a, what was it, a Volkswagen Audi A3 thing, whatever it was. Customer had bought it 12 months ago and he'd bring it in for his annual service. It had new brakes, subject to sale when he bought it, and the brake pads were fitted incorrectly. Even the anti-rattle clip on the caliper, that was missing. The other side, the inside pad, was fitted on the outside. I'll show you, I'll attach you a couple of pictures up here for you to see. But anyway, let's get to work. I think I've got a little bit of a timing belt to replace today. Right, well, we are now at work, and the car that I'm doing a timing belt on today is a 2014 Skoda Yeti Outdoor, and it is a 1.6 TDI CAYC engine, a brilliant little engine, these. Now, I think this car's, I don't even know what mileage it's covered, so we're going to have a look. It has covered 68,000 miles. Now, first things first, what I've done with this vehicle, I've taken it up in the air, and we've removed the belly pan, and also I've attached the Pickler engine support. Just put a little bit of weight on that engine, so when we drop the vehicle down and get round to removing the engine mount, we're not faffing about going up and down, up and down. I'm just going to drop it down to working height now and get this driver's side front wheel off. With that inner wheel arch and the wheel removed, which I've just put over there out of the way, I've also removed the alternator belt, because there is a pipe, a coolant pipe that goes down the side of the engine mount, up to the top. We need to pull it out of the way. Now, I have drained the coolant just from the auxiliary water pump by here into my lovely little receptacle. As you can see, I've now got this vehicle back down to working height. Now, we do need to go ahead and remove the coolant tank, the fuel filter. We might just be able to pull it up out of the way, the DPF pressure sensor, and just various other little brackets. With everything now out of the way, what I like to do is put little bungs in the fuel hose, because when you're pulling it around there, it might leak over and contaminate belts or stuff like that. And also a little stop on the fuel. We don't like leaks, and we don't like diesel going everywhere. Now, I've got access to the upper timing cover, a few little spring clips. I should just pull off like that. We can put everything in a nice, neat pile. We can go around now and get this engine timed up. I tell you what, it doesn't look in too bad condition, does it? We go ahead now and get this engine out. Now, remember, I have supported the engine from underneath with the engine support. Now, this engine shouldn't really move. You've just got to put the right amount of weight on it just to support it. Sometimes it might just drop down a little bit, or it might raise up. Okay. Perfect. How much time does that save faffing about? With everything now out of the way, we can get this engine timed up. Now, I've done that many of these. Now, there is locking pins, and you have to undo the 3 bolts on the camshaft pulley, and also the fuel pump pulley, and lock the crankshaft. Now, the crankshaft tool that it does show you on this is that one there, but I'm not going to be using that one. I'm going to be using this one, which goes into the bolt holes, and I'll show you. But these two go into the camshaft. One by there on the fuel pump. Now, they do line up. You've got to get everything lined up. And one which goes in. Can't find the hole. Might just have to give it a little bit of a turn. And that one slides in the crankshaft. And we get that pin. And then that, I can't show you there. That then, oh, I'm going to have to, hang on. that in. That goes in and it locks in to the crankshaft a little bit, like that. With all these pulleys now removed, slackened off, we can go ahead, and the tensioner, make sure the tensioner is slackened off. We can go ahead and pull that belt off. Easier said than done, one-handed. Good little wiggle-a-rooney. And there we go, that is one belt off. Now that does look, for the mileage and the age, in relatively good condition. Now whenever I've done these Volkswagen, any Volkswagen belts or anything like that, it's never the belts that actually fail, it's always a component to a water pump. Water pumps are prone for failing on these. Remember that transporter that I did the cylinder head on, where it bent the valves and stuff? That water pump had actually soldered and stripped every single tooth off the belt. But this has got a little bit of staining just at the bottom of the water pump there. So I'm going to go ahead now, take a vehicle up in the air and get this water pump out. Right, now let's get this dreaded water pump off. Can you see there where it's just leaking? Now, because it's a little bit awkward up there, I'm going to get on this engine support now and just drop it down. It's simple, so simple to use. Makes it so much easier for you. Now we can get the 410mm and get that pump off. With that water pump off now, you can quite clearly see that it has been leaking through the weep hole. But we're going to go ahead. I can't get my normal preferred kit, so we're going to be using a Dayco one. Now, in the Schaffler kit and the Dayco kit and most of the other kits as well, you do get these studs, which the idlers and the tensioners bolt onto. Now, I know for a fact that 90% of people, when they change these timing belts, put them straight in the bin. But they're in the kit and they need to be replaced. Now look how much thread's on there. Not relying on much, is it? And that bit goes into the block. Oh, it doesn't rely on much, does it? When you think about things, that's... But it does the job, doesn't it? With those studs now replaced, they're looking brand new. Now that top one, I have put a tiny little bit of Loctite on it. I'm going to put the brand new water pump on, a little bit of red rubber grease, and it should slide in, and then we can get it torqued up to 15 newton meters. One water pump on, torqued up to spec, and I have marked the bolts. We've also put in a new idler on there as well. We put the crankshaft tool back in, and I've given everywhere a little bit of a cleaner-rooney with some brake and clutch cleaner, because you don't want all that coolant that's come out of that engine, out of that block, contaminating. As that belt flicks round, contaminating it with antifreeze. That's the last thing you want. Right, let's drop the vehicle down and get the belt on. Before we go fitting that new belt on, these pulleys here, make sure that they're fully clockwise, and the fuel pump fully clockwise, and also replace the bolts that you get in the kit with it as well. Everything's torqued up to spec. I'm going to get the belt chucked on, and then we're going to tension it, and I'm going to show you why you have to slacken these pulleys off. Now with the belt on, the reason why you slacken these pulleys off, so when you put the tension on it, the pulleys will turn ever so slightly, putting the correct tension on it. Now I think floating pulleys, Ford have got the best idea where everything's floating. Brilliant design that is. If you just put tension on it, can you see it moving? Ever so slightly. Then that arrow in there will line up just like that, and then we can get that torqued up. With everything timed up and everything torqued up, we can go ahead and remove our tools. Now they should just pull out. If you've done everything right, effortlessly, I can't get my bloody words out. That one there, and the crank. And then what I'm going to do, just to make things a lot easier for me, I'm going to put a little mark by there, a little mark by there, and also a little mark on the crank, so we can wind it over by hand now and make sure that all these marks are lining up. Well, I've spun that over by hand now and everything feels silky smooth. All the lines are matching up. Should we go ahead and get this vehicle put back together? You know what I'm going to say. Let's get it into a time lapse. And there we have it, that car is now all back together. Now I've got some fresh coolant in it. Now this car is going to be having a oil and filter and an air filter as well. What I'm going to do is get on the key now and give it a big start, Rudy. Can you just give it a big start for us, mate? Beautiful, like a little singer-sewing machine. Brilliant. Right, well this car's ticking over now. I'm going to let it get up to temperature and that oil's going to get nice and hot as well so we can get it drained out. And there we go, car's ticking over lovely. No warning lights on, absolutely beautiful, and the heaters are just starting to get lukewarm now. Now I don't think you lot are that interested in watching me do an oil filter or an air filter replacement on the vehicle as well. But yeah, that is one timing belt replacement on a Skoda Yeti. 64,000 miles, prevention is always better than cure. So if you've liked the video and you've made it this far, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe, and we will definitely see you on the next one. Let's get it sent.
Just wanna pack up my things and go. Just wanna be free, just wanna zone, just wanna flow, just wanna hang with the gang, but sometimes chill on my own. Just wanna do me, just wanna doze, just wanna live in